Are you constantly getting in fights with your partner? Or you're not sure how to communicate your needs? In this video, I'm going to share with you 4 tips on how to effectively communicate in a relationship and take your power back. Now, before we dive into my step-by-step guide on how to communicate in a relationship, let's answer one very important question. Why is it so hard to communicate with our loved ones? The closer you feel to someone, the harder it is to show them how you really feel, because you feel vulnerable in their presence. It is no surprise that we feel more comfortable sharing things with complete strangers on the internet, but feel hesitant to talk about our feelings with our partners or family members. When someone is close to us, we care about the way they feel and how they're going to react to us. So sometimes, in order to protect them or seemingly spare them the pain, we may choose to not share what's really bothering us. Another example is the complete opposite. When we love them, but think it's inappropriate to share our feelings, we prefer to bottle them up inside and never speak our truth. So how can we change that? Let's dive into tip number 1. Pick the right time and place. Honestly, this sounds ridiculously simple, but many of us choose a completely inappropriate moment to communicate our needs. And this may alienate the person, or at least catch them by surprise. One of the most important aspects of sharing your feelings is having enough time and space with the other person to express yourself, without being too pushy or expecting anything in return. A great place to express frustration, anger, or sadness is somewhere where you know you can have enough time to share how you feel and let the other person share their feelings as well. A good way to start a conversation is something like, "Hey, I want to share something with you. Is now a good time to talk?" Let them know that you need their undivided attention to share something that's important to you. But at the same time, give them the opportunity to say no and respect their boundaries if now is not a good time. If they say something like, "Now is not a good time," ask them to talk about it later, or pick another time to bring up the topic. If you want to express that you feel hurt by something your partner did, don't do it after they had a hard day at work, and you can definitely see that they're agitated. Give them the time and space to decompress, and bring up the issue when you see that they will be more receptive to what you want to say. Now, sometimes when we bring up difficult issues, we notice that we have problems with our self-confidence. So if you want to work on improving your self-confidence, check out my brand new masterclass called 3 Confidence Secrets Every Woman Needs to Know. You can reserve your spot by clicking the first link in the description box below or visiting coachsimona.com/masterclass. My second tip on how to communicate in a relationship is to use statements starting with I. When we share our feelings, we might accidentally shift the blame to the other person. By starting your sentences with "you made me feel," it will feel more like an accusation, not a conversation. Instead, you can start your sentences with "I feel" or "I've been going through something." When you start your sentences with "I," you are not only communicating in a constructive way, but you're also respecting their boundaries and not putting them on the defense. My next tip is to not expect or push them to react in a certain way. When you communicate about something that's been bothering you, it can be tempting to expect a certain reaction out of your partner. The problem is that by having unrealistic expectations, you could potentially ruin the conversation. So what can you try instead? The easiest way to drop expectations is to be present with the other person. Let them speak. Listen to what they have to say. Don't defend yourself. Don't try to figure out what to say next. Just listen. Watch their body language, the way they express their feelings. Are their hands closed? What is their posture? Are they leaning towards you or trying to move away from you? What does their voice sound like? Pay attention to the details. My next tip on how to communicate in a relationship is to detach yourself from the outcome. Sometimes conversations don't go the way you planned, and that's okay. By detaching yourself from the outcome, you will drop your expectations towards the other person. Handling criticism in a healthy way means letting the other person express their opinion or feelings without taking anything personally. We all have a different lens through which we see the world. And if you share your feelings with someone and that triggers them in some way, it's completely normal for them to express a negative reaction. The bottom line is, you may not get the reaction you hoped for, but the important thing is that you were brave enough to initiate the conversation and show up unapologetically. Not knowing how to communicate your needs in a relationship often has something to do with not loving yourself when it feels hard to. So if you want to learn how to truly love yourself, make sure to watch this video next. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in that video.